Let's talk about DC circuit breakers, or circuit breakers that are at least rated for DC. So I've accumulated a lot of circuit breakers over the years as a licensed electrical contractor, and I see a lot of YouTube videos, people using different type of circuit breakers for disconnects for their solar, for their DC batteries. And let's take a look at them. So here I have a 3-pole Siemens breaker. This is a bolt-on breaker. I believe it's a BQD is what it's called. These are for more of an industrial situation, so these are rated a little bit higher because these actually get screwed down to the bus bar, as you can see, as opposed to just plugging in like you have at your home in a load center. And if we look at it, this is not rated for DC. Even though you can simply connect to here, and you've got your terminals here, and you've got a 50 amp breaker, this is not rated for DC. Here we have a GE 30 amp 2-pole breaker, again, a higher KAIC rating because it's a bolt-on. And this is rated at a 22,000 KAIC, where a standard residential breaker like this is rated at 10,000 KAIC. That's the max interrupting current that this will protect you from. Arc flash. And this is not rated for DC. If it doesn't clearly show a DC signal, you know, that straight line with the dotted line underneath it, it is not rated for DC. It's not listed. So there's a 2-pole. Sorry, it's really small lettering. This is not rated for DC. I'm going to assume this is not either. This is a Murray. Murray is also compatible with Siemens. And you can see right on it, it is 10,000 KIC, 122 40 volt VAC. It's not rated. Let's take a look at this GE here. Same thing. This is what you have in your home. A regular plug-in circuit breaker. This is not rated for DC. Here's a slimline breaker you guys might have. I see some lettering here. Again, as long as it's rated and it's listed for its use, you could use it. No, this is not rated, obviously. Look how small that is. But that's a 30 amp rated thin breaker. Cutler hammer. Cutler hammer clearly says use only in listed enclosure. That means you can't use this on its own. You can't, you know, fabricate your own type of enclosure anyway. And it says here, max RMS 10,000 amps, 10 KAIC, 122 40 volts. So no, you can't use this. What about this 2-pole Cutler hammer, newer style, tan handle, 10 KIC, which is nice. It's got the little window in it to show you if it's tripped. Tells you wire size. Again, no. Only AC. So let's jump to one that I know is... This one's not either. So here's another Siemens. This is a commercial 480 volt breaker. You could see this is a 122 40 volt breaker, and this is a 480 volt rated breaker. And it clearly says that at 240 volt, it's a 65 KAIC, and at 480, it's 14, but it has nothing showing DC. So this you can't use either. Let's jump up to a arc flash breaker. And it's, again, 10,000 KAIC. And it is not... It just shows 120 with the squiggly line, AC. So this is not DC. This one I know is. Because it's strange. It's a couple different GE. This is a GE 480 volt breaker also. But it says right there, 250 volts DC. And that's actually pretty good. It's 10,000 KAIC at 250 volts DC. But look how much more the interrupting capacity is at 240 volt. At 240 volt, it's 65,000 amps that this will interrupt but at DC, it's only 10,000. So you can see how much current DC power puts out. It's not a joke, guys. I know DC, people think you don't get shocked, but the arc from that is nothing to play around with. So I can see by this label, here's another. So if you guys want to go on eBay and buy, these used circuit breakers, that's probably a great option. It's American, General Electric. Here it's got 125 volt, 10,000 KIC. So this is rated at 125 volt. And what was the other guy? It was rated at 250 volt. 250 volt. This one's rated at 125. I don't know if it's 125 per pole. This is a really oldie. This is rated 250 volt, 10 KIC. I guess it's the same breaker, just a little dirtier. And it doesn't say must be used in a listed enclosure. So this can be actually you can actually connect this outside and use this as your disconnect for your battery bank or your solar input array, as long as you don't exceed. Now let's go with the big guy. Now this is a brand new breaker. This one I've had. Let's take a look at it. This is a Square D, 250 volts. See, there you go. There's a perfect example of that mark. You can see, you guys know, if you're watching this video, you guys know what you're doing. You just want to see which breakers. I don't need to get into it with you. You know what you're doing. So anyway, it's a 250 amp. So this is rated at 250 volt, 20,000 KAIC. But look when it goes up 65,000 at 240 volt and only 20,000. And these are to me, these are the best. And look, it's rated here 500 volt, 250, 500 volt DC, interrupting KA 20,000. This is an expensive breaker. You wouldn't get this breaker. If you have it laying around, you could use it, but this is a very expensive breaker. It's a very good quality breaker. If you're trying to do a really quality install, you use products like this. Look at that. DC in, DC out. That's perfect for a nice battery bank. In fact, I'm going to use this.